More interesting part about Aristotle's theory comes when he talks about citizenship. Now the interesting part is Aristotle was one of the first few people that talked about the concept of citizenship. Before Aristotle, it was thought that anyone who takes birth in the country automatically becomes a citizen, and why do you have to discuss that? Aristotle, on the other hand, was of the view that just taking birth in a country or in a state is not enough to call yourself a citizen. As per Aristotle, citizens are given special privileges, they are given special rights, they can have property, they can take part in voting process, etc. That is why it is important to define who are citizens. Just by taking birth, you cannot claim to be a citizen. Now, interestingly, when he says that who is a citizen, he talks about the fact that man is a social animal, man is a political animal, and for the betterment of the society, every man or every person has to contribute. The government or the state does not run on its own. It is at the end of the day the human beings who have to contribute to the running of the state. Human beings have to contribute to the running of the government. And that is why, according to Aristotle, only people who fulfill their duties, only the people who fulfill their obligations towards the society, they have the right to be called citizens. Interestingly, what Aristotle was pointing towards was, if you want to have the right of citizenship, you must fulfill your duties as well. Your political duties, such as the duty to vote, the duty to pay taxes, the duty to take part in decision making, the duty to be politically informed. Only those people who can actually take part in their political duties or who can actually fulfill the political duties are the ones who should be allowed to be considered as citizens. Others cannot be considered as citizens at all. This is what Aristotle was pointing towards. Now, although he did not clearly define who are citizens, he did define who are not the citizens. For example, Aristotle says, aliens means not jadoo of koi mil gaya, aliens means foreigners who are not from the country. Old people, women, children, slaves. These are 5 categories of people who cannot fulfill their social duties, who cannot fulfill their political duties. And that is why they don't or they can't be called citizens. Old people won't be able to come out of the house as often as they have to. Women would again be busy in their household chores, taking care of child. Children, they don't have as much knowledge. And slaves, because they don't have enough knowledge or reason to contribute in the political system. And that is why, apart from these people, the remaining ones will be called citizens. And these shall not be considered as citizens of a state. So for Aristotle, this is what citizens are. As I said, for Aristotle, citizenship comes with a duty. You can't just claim to be a citizen because you are born in the country. To be a citizen or to have the right to be called a citizen, you need to fulfill the duties that are given to you. Because without the duties being fulfilled, we cannot have a proper, perfectly working society. Thus, for Aristotle, citizenship is related to duty. It is not just about taking birth. Only those who can participate in the affairs of the state can be treated as citizens. So if you take away all the people who Aristotle considered as not citizens, the remaining ones are Greek male who possess property. They are the ones who are called citizens. Now, Aristotle's views have actually impacted a lot of European countries, at least in the earlier stages. In many of the European countries, women were not given the right to vote earlier. Why? Because as we saw in the details given here, for Aristotle, women should not be considered as citizens because they can't fulfill their social or political duties. Now, the idea of Aristotle to equate rights to duties is an interesting one. In fact, Mahatma Gandhi also said rights should always come with duties, but that is not the case as you see practically today. In our constitution, we have fundamental rights given to everyone. We have fundamental duties also, but they are not justiciable. So we do have fundamental duties, but if you don't follow the fundamental duties, nothing will happen to you. No action can be taken against you. On the other hand, if a fundamental right is taken away, you can go to the Supreme Court. So the concept of rights and duties being dependent on each other, although was given by Aristotle, is not followed today, at least not in case of India.